actually, because you started mentioning injuries, that's perfect sort of segue into this next bit. Jon Moxley concussion protocol, he suggested. Somewhat of a convoluted system, but he talks about the concussion he received from Ray Phoenix, where they had to switch the matchup, you know the thing. Talking to the Messenger, Jon Moxley said the concussion happened 30 seconds into the match, which ultimately sent him to effing outer space for like 10 minutes. Pro wrestling is such a strange thing. In football, if a guy goes down and he doesn't go back to the huddle, you know he's effed up. In pro wrestling, a lot of times it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake. Now, Jon then talks about what he wants to see in concussion protocol in AEW. And he proposes the following: maybe a really experienced wrestler and a really experienced doctor who are trained to see the signs of that stuff, I'm editing here, are watching it on a separate feed. Even if they have a doctor close to ringside, what if the guy effing spills outside the ring? He doesn't see that. The doctor and wrestler are completely untethered to the creative portion of it, Moxley said. They have no idea nor any interest in what the story is, who wins, who loses, or how long it's supposed to go. If a guy effing spins around or something and the doctor goes, is he okay? The wrestler can tell him, that's just pro wrestling thing, don't worry. As soon as the doctor sees a sign of somebody being concussed, he just hits the effing red button. Boom, this is over. No matter how much time is left, no matter how if it's on TV or live TV, it's just over and you figure it out from there. So Jon Moxley's concussion and his suggestion for saving wrestlers who have been concussed mid-match.
Well, at least it's a suggestion. They're supposed to have a doctor there anyway, regardless. The doctor should be there. I don't know if the doctor needs to be at ringside. I think that's asking the doctor maybe to do too much, because he might be treating some other wrestlers in the back. You can't be at ringside. But I think you need to train your referees what to look for. And when the referee says that this guy is knocked silly, he holds the sign up. Let's get the doctor out here and let's check the guy, because everybody understands that. And if it changes the path of a whole angle, so be it. You have to do it, because in respect to Jon, he continued the match. And I've had my brain scrambled. You don't know where you are. One night in Savannah, Georgia, it's really, really dark in the arena, and had a good crowd there. Me and another guy cracked heads, bam, and we knocked each other out. And when I came up, I did not know where I was. I didn't know why I'm in a wrestling ring. I didn't know. I just saw darkness. And I got up and somehow finished the match. And I think the referee said, just do this, because he knew the finish. We did that, rolled out. And on the way to the dressing room, I went the wrong way. Somebody had to come and get me. Somebody and say, you need to go down this other aisle. I did that. Yes, but it is very, you like this word, disconcerting. Is that a word? Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just scrambled. But, and I can understand what Jon's talking about. There is a way that they need to come up. It needs to be left down to the referee. He needs to know exactly what to look for, and that's his job. And guess what? If he's wrong, so what? If he saw the guy needed help, let's stop it. And see, I used to have a thing called standby match. If something happens during the course of the TV or whatever, and the matches end early, we have a standby match that's going to come out there. To me, it made sense that the standby match is this. You can actually advertise somebody, but you never see them. But one day you do see this thing end early, and your standby match gets in the ring, and of course, you don't have time to complete it, but you end your show by saying, we'll give you the conclusion of this match next week. So they got something to come back to see that and see what else you're doing. It's just something that you cannot trust somebody's health with a wrestling match. I mean, they don't do it in football. They don't do it in basketball. They don't do it in any sports. When a competitor is injured, they're taken off the court. They can't compete. And everybody everybody understands that.
Mm.
So, John, you come up with a very nice answer.
I thought he came up
with of course, John, your wife probably gave it to you, so I'm not going to give you the whole credit.
I thought he came up with one of the most convoluted systems I've ever heard in my life. So it involves two people staring on a monitor like VAR or like Hawkeye in tennis to stare, and then the doctor goes, "Is he concussed?" and the wrestler goes, "Probably not." Is he concussed? It's one of the worst systems I've ever heard, and you hit it straight off the bat. UFC referees, boxing referees, they're all first aid trained. And guess what? If they think that you're concussed or you can't carry on, there's a doctor at ringside. Doctor, come in. They do they do the light in your eyes. It's just give you. But here's where it's really important.
If I was a doctor, I would come in, and the first thing I'd reach for is their pocket, see if they got any money on them. Then I'd take the money out, and I said, now let's check it. See, that's what they do.
No, I thought it was more nurses. Anyway, not to denigrate the nurses out there. UFC last week, or the week before, I think, weekend before, Johnny Walker was in there. He got a knee to the face. I've got the other guy.
Johnny Walker Red?
He's not a bottle of alcohol, would you believe? That is his actual name. Versus Magomed Ankalaev, or I have not blown his name too bad. Gives him an illegal knee. Johnny Walker was a downed opponent, and he gave him a knee straight to the head. The referee immediately steps in, stops the match. And in these kind of circumstances, can you continue? You get 5 minutes, like a low blow. You get 5 minutes to recover, and then if you can't recover, then they take it from there. Doctor comes in. Referee beckons the doctor in, have a look into his eyes. And the doctor says, "Where are you at?" They're in Saudi Arabia. And Johnny Walker sort of goes, "What?" And where are you at? And he's like, "The desert, man. I'm in the desert." And I think this was sort of what he was getting at, but it took him a long time to even think he was in the desert. And he never said Saudi Arabia. From that, the doctor went, "No, forget it." Threw it out. And the match was a no contest. Should have been a disqualification, but it was a no contest. And then, straight afterwards, Johnny Walker starts...
Wait a minute, why would it be a disqualification? Because of the knee?
Yeah, it was an illegal knee. So it should have been a
legal
DQ.
knee.
But the fact is that Johnny Walker, straight afterwards, after the match has been called, starts trying to fight again. And it takes him about a minute to get calmed down and be told that the match has been thrown out. So tell me that he wasn't concussed.
No, he was. He really was. So, yeah, these guys get knocked out. But think about all these independent shows. These guys get knocked out all the time.
But you have to save these people from themselves. Oh, that's the point I was making with Johnny Walker. You have to save some of these fighters and wrestlers from themselves because they will push through in their concussed mindset, like Jon Moxley did.
Okay. I saw Mick Foley, his match against The Rock.
Yep.
Where his hands were cuffed behind his back. I may have brought this up, and The Rock was laying it in because Foley was telling him to lay it in. I mean, how easy can you lay a chair that doesn't look? There come a point, I don't think The Rock wanted to do it, period. I think he eased off of it. The way you ease off on a chair is, when you don't follow through. You let it land and you turn it loose at where you're holding it. That takes the power out of it. But somebody told me to lay it in. I don't do that. There used to be a guy called Gypsy Joe.
Yep.
That son of a bitch would beat the living shit out of you. Then he was Puerto Rican. I met him in the States. He said, "Come on, hit me. Well, I hit him one time. He said, "Harder." So I hit him a little harder. "Harder." I hit him a little harder. He said, "Harder." I said, "That's it." That's as hard as I can hit, because I knew what was going to happen. He was going to take that chair away from me and beat the living crap out of me, saying since he gave me, he gave me liberty to hit him, then he's going to take a liberty. I said, hell no. I threw the chair out of the ring. So if he wanted it, he had to go get it, which gave me enough time to see he had it so I could run. So, But you got to watch some of these guys. And I think these guys, you got to, like we said, you got to save them from themselves. And in this process, you're saving you. Who wants to knock out a guy then, oh, here's a chair, you hit me now. Who would do that? I don't know. It's a weird business. It's a weird business.
Do you find any irony in the statement this concussion statement coming from a guy who left WWE to slice himself up with pizza cutters and shove skewers in the top of his head?
Well, he does a lot of things I don't like. What are the skewers on the top of the head? How do you get that in there? Stick it in?
I think there's one in the center with the spike, and then I think the other skewers sort of bloom out like a sort of lovely cactus.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I thought he was portraying an Indian or something, or I don't know, like a Mohawk or something. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on in pro wrestling today that I don't understand. But if you really attack it, I mean, you're criticizing the hell out of it, and some of it needs to be criticized, but there's nothing I can do about it. It happens. I'll comment on it.